That's my baby. I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, what is up, fam? We are back. Another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, Steve Rochelle, as always. Daniel's a little under the weather tonight, so it's me, Mr. Burr, over here. Zach, or is your internet liking you right now or no?
I don't know. I figured if I just sat over here and pointed myself like I was RVD, eventually we would figure out one way or another.
Captain Robot. Captain Robot. Paging Captain Robot. All right, well, as Zach is dealing with his technical issues, every one of our shows here at the Weekly Roundup is brought to you by eXp Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're looking to change a career brokerage, Zach might be looking to change some internet issues. I don't know. You need to contact our guy, Alan Hoy, over at eXp Realty LLC. That's 302-682-682, or visit him at Alan at exprealty.com. Yeah, he's still frozen as RVD over there. What is up? What's up, Ted? What's up? Zach, you're still frozen as RVD if anyone notices. We're gonna have a we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna talk. Phillies just took one down to the Brewers. They had a rough night tonight. We're gonna talk to Ben Troop around 8:30. He's gonna be joining us again. We're gonna talk some football. We're gonna talk some NFL news. I said the rest of the number, Ted. Stop playing with me. And in the second hour, we're going to be joined by Alan Foy. We're going to talk some basketball. We're going to talk some Sixers, and we might get a chance to talk some combat sports, some MMA, and we'll see what happens. Let's see. Zach is slowly popping back in here. I don't even know if I should bother at this point in time. Let's see. Hold on. Let's try it. Let's give it one more chance here. Zachary.
Steven.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I cannot, can we hear me now? Or because you're still not moving on my screen.
You sound good for the moment.
Okay. So great. We're now connected back to my internet, which is what was fucking us up before when we were talking on the phone about 10 minutes ago. So we went back to the 4G. This is why Tommy fucking sits here and bitches about me getting a laptop. Well, hell, my internet don't even fucking work, and I'm sitting right next to the modem in my living room. What's a laptop going to do for me?
A lot. Trust me. You get off the phone, get on the
laptop.
laptop.
No, it's not. Because in order for the laptop to work, I need the modem and the internet connection to work, and apparently that don't want to work either.
Zach, we will argue the merits of this at a later date. Until then,
I used to get knocked out when I used to be on the laptop too. Let's not act like that didn't happen.
That big puff of pride you got under your chest, tone it down for a minute. And I already been through what you've been through. I did interviews where people said you just sound like frozen echoes. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, my phone's fine. It's connected to the 5G internet. Listen, as soon as I got the laptop, I mean, not sitting there saying it doesn't have its days. You have weather, whatever. Just it's better with the laptop, brother. I promise.
When I had the laptop before, it wasn't working. And the laptop's a waste of money if the only thing I'm going to do with it is the show. Laptops are so 2007.
Oh, man. Ted, I don't think you realize the love between Tom and Zach. That he could probably call Zach. He could probably call Tom every name under the sun. They would yell and scream at each other for about 10, 15 minutes, and about some point later in the day, they'd call and talk to each other and be like, "You good?
We've been there." Tom's throwing headsets at me on the air. Ted has not followed us long enough to know the history of everything with me and Tom at A2D. And Tom couldn't fire me anyway because I have his mom's cell phone number, and I will call her and get my job back within a 10-minute period.
Zach said, "I'm going to pull the mom card. Don't play with me."
Do not make me call Mrs. Arnaud.
Like I said, we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're internet issues aside and everything else.
I will call Chris.
We're gonna talk some Phillies. We're gonna have Ben Trupa joining us in about a half hour or so. Talk some Sixers and Raptors. And like I said, and possibly get to some UFC Fight Night reactions. We also got Alan Foy hopping on in the second hour to let us spew some more venom.
Oh, is he coming on now?
He's coming on. I already talked to him.
Okay, good. That way, like, if my internet kinks out again or clunks out or conks out or whatever the fuck, let's hope something gets kinky around here because that'll be better than what the hell's going on at the moment. But at least if my internet goes out, you'll have Alan. And what the hell is Ben Simmons wearing? Oh my God, did anybody just see that?
No, I don't want to know. Please.
Look, he's got those orange sweatpants with the purple jacket and those ugly ass sunglasses. Why? What is up with this dude wearing sunglasses inside while he sits in the front row? Oh my God! This is like the fifth straight game. Is that his look? I am so glad this dude got it. I think you wearing sunglasses inside while you sit in the front row of an NBA, like that's like I'm trading you from Philly just because of that. Like you cannot be in Philly if you're a sunglasses inside type of guy. Like this.
That's Alan. We don't do that. Alan Foy, Ted. Alan Foy. Alan Ted.
You guys really gonna have Randy Foy on? No, Randy Foy. That's all you got. Okay.
Oh man, you just made Zach's night.
Alan coaches the Bordentown High School basketball team, and played college basketball at DeVry University, but there's no relation to Randy Foy. No. But I guess we got to try to get Randy on in the future now because the people want him. Apparently, Ted wants to see Randy Foy, so let's make it happen.
What are you drinking now, you degenerate?
It's a big little thing IPA. It's like a 9% alcoholic beer. But we're good. We're good, actually.
I'm sitting here drinking coconut water, and you're fucking drinking on air. Look at this shit.
Yeah, we're allowed to drink on air. Where have you been? Holy hell. For it. Well, I'm trying, but hey, it says family owned, operated, and argued over since a certain year, and I was like, that really sounds a lot like A2D. Like maybe we'll be good business partners. Like you never know.
Probably. We're always looking for new business.
I'll have to hit up our own. I'll have to hit up our own Brian Daly, who now lives in North Carolina, because this is brewed in Mills River, North Carolina. So we'll have to know and see if maybe he knows people that we can get in touch with. But yes, no, I've got money on the Sharks in two different parlays in the NHL. If the Sharks win against the Blackhawks, I win like $240. So I've now put like $40 on the Blackhawks just in case the Blackhawks pull the upset, and then you can hedge a little bit of your money and not have as bad of a day as otherwise would have been. So, we're good right now.
Yeah,
man. I was going to put money on the boxing match earlier, and we didn't do that, but we probably should.
Unless you were betting Tyson Fury, there was no point to even bet on that one. Nothing against that kid.
He was minus 500, and I was literally going to bet the mortgage on him.
Well, with that being said, we'll get back to some of the combat sports stuff. I know you're betting that. You know what I'm going to do? One of these, I'm going to bring in one of these gambling guys, so Zach can just literally go all in and go craziness in the first.
I actually have a guy, Steven, that through my system that I'm a part of, that I pay for access to.
Oh, yeah.
He's an MMA guy that strictly does MMA stuff. There was a weekend not too long ago. He got all 8 fights on the card correct. All 8, knocked them all.
Listen, if you
got them all
watch
right off the park.
if you watch
He was
enough
badass.
combat sports, it's not actually that hard to figure it out if you know like styles and things of that. And obviously not everything is black and white with that, but it's definitely fun, especially when you get into the betting aspect of it. I think that's a lot of some of the stuff. Go ahead.
He charges like $80 a month. If you're charging $80 a month and you get every single fight right in a night, like I'm just literally like you're probably making $1,000 in a night right there just alone. I mean, like for $80 a month, how could you beat that type of profit? But I'm not allowed to mention them on the air. I don't really think that's why I'm not mentioning any names.
Nights like tonight when you have like fight night cards and things that not a whole lot of people like the general fan doesn't really know about. That's where bettors really make killings. So I'm gonna just say that but
somebody like you, I would think you should look into betting UFC. Like you'd probably make bank if you just focused on betting UFC fights every Saturday night they had UFC. You'd be completely fine.
When I start getting paid to do that, maybe I will. I used to be above average all the time, but that's besides the point.
Put three fighters in a parlay and bet $20 on it and make $150 for a night.
Exactly. But we're gonna finally get to this poll question real fast. I'm gonna quick switch gears here and our our poll question for tonight is brought to you by All Campus. That's giving you 20% off everything in store: shirts, hats, tees, team apparel. Make sure you're checking out everything that
team cornhole. Wow, listen, I know some cornhole people.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Team cornhole sets to all subscribers. Now that's some badass stuff. You got some cornhole tournaments around the area.
Now, poll question. Phillies injuries will be their downfall this season. Not the bats, not the pitching. Injuries will be their downfall this season. Agree to disagree? Zach, I know you're going to sound off here. What are you feeling, brother?
Completely disagree. 1,020% disagree. Injuries will not be their downfall this season. Injuries haven't been their downfall so far. Mickey Moniak's been hurt, sure, but it's not like we've been okay in center field. When he comes back, I'm looking forward to it, obviously. But the offense went through a little stretch where and you're like, whatever. I was hoping they'd be a little bit better, but I don't know if I necessarily been disappointed with the offense big picture. As much as it does help me get in the zone. Exactly. Thank you, Ted. See, at least somebody gets it. Big picture, I think I'm more worried about the idea that
we will, Ted.
That the bats and the pitching, the combination of the two of them, and then Joe Girardi on top of it. Joe Girardi is killing me. Okay, Joe Girardi's doing absolutely nothing for me. Nearly cost us a game the other night with that stupid shift. I know Tommy went on a rant about it on A2D. Yeah. But like you fucking shift to the one side of the infield, the dude hit the ball to second base, and then let a dude go first to third because you got a shift on, and there's nobody covering third base. Now, part of that shift has to be somebody's got to get the line to cover third base or something. Like it's just so ridiculous. I'm actually so happy that they're banning the shift in baseball next year because it just allows managers to not outthink themselves anymore. Like stop trying to outsmart yourself with the stupid shift. It's really stupid, and it seems like it's more. It works less times than it fails more times than it's successful now. Like it's not as efficient. I think it's this big smoke and mirrors thing around baseball that shifting the defense helps you. When it comes to, I guess, keeping runs off the scoreboard for the other team, which is really the bottom line here, right? We don't want the other team to score runs. I don't really give a fuck how many hits they have, how many base runners, we don't need them scoring runs. Is it saving me runs to make these defensive shifts in the way that we're currently doing? No, I don't think it is. And I don't necessarily think we're a good enough defensive team to begin with to be trying to sit here getting cute and doing types of shit like that. Focus on making some routine plays, make the routine plays that you can make and do what you got to do. Just do that and then hope that your pitching and your offense is going to carry you, and make up for the things that the defense isn't good at. But, I'll tell you what, this really has we got to be a top 3 offense in football or top 3 football. We better score like a football team if we want to, go compete for a World Series. But you got to be a top 3 offense in baseball, I think, from a run production standpoint, if you really want to sit here and consider yourselves contenders, because we're not going to, the defense we already knew that was going to be. Like, after last year, you kind of doubted it was going to get much better with signings like Castellanos and Schwarber. Like, you knew you were just going to ride and die with what you had defensively. That was what it was. But the pitching has been really disappointing for me, the starting pitching especially. Wheeler has been garbage. Was garbage again today. Nola hasn't been any good.
Listen, it's something you talked about. I said,
that's really what it's coming down to for you right now.
Loved all the. It's one of the things me and you talked about on air and off there. I love the pieces that we had in offense. I was just like, I really got to question, the back end starters. We still don't know what is up with Aaron Nola. He's not ascending the way he should, and you still got holes in the back end of that bullpen. So yeah, you're gonna have question marks.
And I don't even know if I'm like the bullpen isn't my concern. I actually feel like, get me a lead, I'm okay with keeping it. Like, I feel our problem is we don't have the lead going into the 7th, 8th inning, 9th inning of games right now. Like, we've been playing from behind a lot. There was a few games early on where we showed a lot of fight. You're like, okay, this offense is fine. Like, it's got the heart and the fight. They're never going to quit, fighting. And they're never going to roll over and die throughout the course of a game. I'm not worried about that. But like, not only have Nola and Wheeler not been good, you're talking about the back end of the rotation. The back end of the rotation is what's kept us above water. Kyle Gibson's been pretty solid in that number 3 role. The 4th and 5th starters were like, okay, we knew those were going to be what they were anyway. So, if I'm looking at where I'm disappointed, Wheeler's now 0-3 with like a 9 ERA. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's supposed to be my ace. Nola looks average, which may be what he is at this point. He's not a number. He was never an ace. I think we were trying to talk ourselves into thinking he was a 2, but the bottom line is he's probably closer to a 3 than he is anything else. And Nola's issue is everything with him his stuff, it all relies on it being able to sync effectively. If his stuff isn't syncing effectively in the zone, he's just going to get absolutely lit up by good lineups. Like, he's a guy that throws a 90-mile-per-hour sinker. He's a 90-mile-per-hour sinker baller. When you throw 91, 92 mile per hour as a sinker baller and your sinker doesn't sink and it stays up in the zone, guys are going to have a field day with you. And when Nola gets in problems and gets in trouble, that's where it's at. It's because his stuff isn't sinking and fading the way that it needs to. But what concerns me about that is it really hasn't been sinking and fading the way it needs to for the better part of a year now. Like, you can go back to last year and say for the most part of last year, his stuff just was not doing what it needs to do for him to be effective as a pitcher, because he's not going to overpower you. He's not going to blow the ball by you. It's not going to be any of that. He's got to finesse you. He's got to hit his spots, and he's got to keep the ball down in the zone. Right now I'm more concerned about, I think, Zach Wheeler than anybody else in my rotation, because you cannot afford to have him, not be your 8. Like, he has to pitch up to the type of guy that he can be. You saw what he was last year.
He's one of the guys
close to that guy.
He's one of your guys that you're leaning on this year. You need him to not play down the competition. You need him to overperform at times to make compensation for, like you said, the back end's holding them together right now, even though it's one of the things me and you were talking about, because we assumed, you would get, I don't think Nola's gonna ever be, a 30-game winner or, anything.
He wasn't going to be, like people thought he was going to be Greg Maddux because he throws 5 different pitches for strikes. He was never going to be Greg Maddux.
Listen, if we can get the teens out of each one of your starter, get at least 15 wins out of each guy, I think it's a win. You'll get ones. Get ones in later innings and things of that nature, but I still think like you, as far as
if you talk about,
God,
if you talk about, to your point, all 5 of your starters getting the double-digit type wins. I don't even know if I need to get the teams, but if all 5 of my starters can get the double-digit wins, you probably have a good enough offense and everything else with your bullpen and the improvements made there to be a playoff team. But this right now is not a playoff team. What we've seen in the first, 2 weeks of the season?
No,
2.5 weeks is not a playoff team.
I think that's even a wet dream for Noah at this point in time, Ted. Like, listen, I've all but given up the fact that he's not going to be the ace. He's not even going to be in the mantle of Cole Hamels. And it's not something we want to take it away from him or ride him down, because that's what the typical Philadelphia fan does. It's just we're just looking at what he is, what he's shown us. And
you know who he is right now, Steven?
Who's that?
Aaron Nola is this generation's Brett Myers for us. Like, Brett Myers was always a guy that was kind of forced to be an ace on he was kind of forced to be an ace on some of those Phillies teams when you knew he was a number 2 at best. But even then, you're probably more of a 3, but on this team, it is what it is. And he'd have good stretches where you're like, okay, the guy's pitched well, and then he'd have stretches where he got lit up and I just need you to be better. Remember, he got sent down to the minors in 08 or whatever it was.
Listen, I'll say this much: as much as we're going to complain about, I know as much as we're going to complain about pitching and things of that nature right now, at least we're not the Pittsburgh Pirates giving up 21 runs to the Cubs right now. You see that?
Yeah, and the Cubs are an example of a team where, people didn't think they're going to be very good this year because of all the salary that they shed and all that, and they're hanging in there. They got the young talent. They're able to, develop the talent that they have. Kyle Hendricks is a great example. You know who Aaron Nola should be? He should be Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks is the guy for the Cubs that, very similar stuff to what Nola has, but they've gotten the most out of him. I said we probably should have went and tried to sign Marcus Stroman, or Stroman was available. I don't know if the Cubs signed him or traded for him, whatever the deal was there. But like Stroman, that's an example of a guy that he's available, and is he an ace? No, but he would make your rotation better than what it was, and better than what it is. And you didn't even try to pursue it. And I think we knew that if the offense was going to be what's going to have to carry this team. And as much as that's still the case, regardless of how good your pitching is, that was going to be the case. You need more out of what your starting pitching is early on right now. This is concerning to watch Wheeler be 0-3 at the moment. To watch Nola struggle the way he has after knowing he hadn't. You're like, dude, you need to have a bounce back year. You just do. It's important for your career, and it's important for this team. And then you had a little stretch there where it seemed like there was maybe a 5-game stretch where the offense wasn't really hitting. But I don't know if that's fair to sit there and put all that pressure on the offense and say, you guys need to be that offense every single game, when it's just that's not a thing. You're not going to be that offense every single game. There shouldn't be any reason why, Zach Wheeler can't go out and win me a 2-1 baseball game. Why Aaron Nola can't win me a 3-2 baseball game. I shouldn't have to score. I made the joke with my betting buddies that, we were going to hammer the Phillies at over 3.5, in every game as far as their team total runs go. Over 3.5 every game, until Vegas adjusts to the idea that, you're probably going to have to set that line a little bit higher, because even if we even had stretches there where the team and the offense didn't really produce for the first 7 innings, but then you'd get 3 or 4 runs in the final couple innings to make it a game. But at that point, it's already 6-1, and it's too late. You can't. You're going to go lose a game 6-4. At that point, you've got to be able to keep it within striking distance for this offense, and we're not doing that.
Yeah. Now, as far as my backing on it, I don't think injuries will be their downfall this season. Don't even necessarily think it's the offense. I think it's gonna be the Girardi. I think he's gonna eventually mistake them out of the playoffs. I think that's going to be our biggest thing. Yeah, we might have fell short here. We might have fell short there. They're baseball players. They're human as to be expected. I still think Joe Girardi is an overrated manager. Has made it this far on his name as a player alone. I don't think he's the fit here. I don't think he's the answer here. We'll find out before the end of the season. I could be right. I could be wrong. We'll
is
see.
there any reason why at this point
we'll see in another 100 games. We'll see in another 100 games. You think I'm wrong?
Well, that depends on, I guess, what happens in 100 games. But say this team is 12 games under 500 by the time we hit the beginning of June. Why? Like, there's no point. I might as well let Dusty Wathan manage the team the rest of the year. Like, I don't know, like, this idea, like, Girardi, like, the reason I went out and got Girardi is because we're supposed to win. You're supposed to be a guy that can, go take us to a World Series, Joe. That's your resume. If I wanted to sit here and win 85 games and finish a couple games out of the playoffs, I would have just kept Gabe Kapler and watched people have total meltdowns. Because at least that was fun. It's not fun watching you blow baseball games, knowing that, like, I'm expecting more. I expected Gabe Kapler to blow me baseball games. I expected Gabe Kapler to say stupid shit in the media. I expected Gabe Kapler to talk about how inspirational, fucking Pedro Florimon was. That's always going to be my favorite fucking Gabe Kapler story of all the ones here in Philly in his 2 years. We were losing like 14-2. And he brought in Pedro Florimon, the pitch. And Pedro Florimon, like a backup middle infielder, utility player, right? And pitched like 2 innings and then hit a home run or something later in the game. And like we still lost like 14-5 or something. And after the game, Gabe Kapler goes, "How about that Pedro Florimon? What an inspiration he is." Who do you inspire? We lost 14-5. I know he pitched an inning in 2/3 and hit a home run. Good for him. When was the last time a position player did that in a game? But he didn't inspire anybody. We just got our fucking asses kicked. You're over here like fluffing somebody in a post-game press conference, like nearly on the verge of tears, because what an inspiration that guy is. This isn't fucking like Little League baseball. Like, I'm not here for inspiration, Gabe. But like the bottom line is Gabe Kapler could still be our manager, and I get the same results that I'm getting with Joe. And that's not the point of why the fuck you moved on to bring in a guy like Joe. The point of bringing in a guy like Joe was to try to expose all the stupid shit that Gabe was doing and how bad all of it was. And Joe can be like, yeah, we're not doing that shit no more. And now watch how much better we're going to be. But we're still the same fucking team we were with Gabe, with Gabe Kapler.
What's
really,
up,
when you look at it. A poor defensive team, really, a bad bullpen, and we don't really have an identity.
Like I said, we'll see what this team is throughout the in the next 100 games or so. We're gonna see this one. I guess Dave wants to bring in some basketball real fast.
Hey, there's a lot of pressure right now. I mean, this is a do or die season for this team, Steven. Would you agree with that?
It's a do or die for I don't think for the team. I think it's a do or die for aspects of,
in the sense that
I would have to say
you've got to take a step forward.
Upper management, aspects of the coaching staff. I think for the most part, most of the Harper, some of the guys they just brought in. I don't think it's do or die for them, but I think it's going to be like I said. The next 100 games is going to show us a lot, where the problems are, whatever. And they have to make this a winning ball club, or you're going to wind up getting these fans tuning out like what a lot of the fans are doing to the Flyers right now.
Well, that's my point about it being a do or die season, is that you've made all these improvements. I don't even have to go win a World Series, but you've got to take a step forward and establish yourself as some sort of contender with a direction that, hey, we're building in the right direction. We're moving forward in the right direction. Maybe we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. And in order to do that, you've got to go be a playoff team at the very least this year. You've got to show that sort of progress, that you're good enough to take that next step. And then this offseason, we can make whatever other improvements need to be made, to try to make the next step after that, to go be a World Series team. But there's definitely, I think, a lot of pressure on this team to go prove that they're they're at least a good enough team in the National League to be a playoff team and play with anybody that, would consider themselves, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cardinals, any of these teams that you look at, around the National League and go, yeah, those are the better teams in the National League, you can compete with any of them. Right now, I mean, I don't see that. It's just not something that this, but, you're still early in the year. You hopefully get all that worked out. But for me, it's like, this is almost an inexcusable start to come out the way that we've had, the way that we have. You got to, we should have came out cooking out the gates. We really should have. All the chemistry was there. all the
the bats were
excitement,
there,
the
but
expectation.
you have to expect at some point in time it's going to even out and things of that nature. But real quick, switch gears here because we got one of our premium members already up in the chat. And speaking of which, you can become an A2D premium member for only $9.99 a month. Perks include appearance on shows, member only shows, shout outs, weekly sports picks, Money Pop Podcast, Willie Vegas and the boys, and as always, our good friend Don. What's up, my friend? And literally, just being seamless on this whole thing. We're gonna switch gears again because here is our first guest for tonight. And this interview tonight is brought to you by Gleason's Bar and Grill, located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use that promo code A2D for 10% off your order. Whenever you dine in, takeout, use that code Gleason Bar and Steaks.com and A2D. What is up, Ben? How you feeling tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. We're getting ready for this draft on Thursday. I know it's gonna be crazy.
Oh man, it is gonna be crazy. We already got the fame asking us, are you guys gonna be live? Yeah, we're gonna be live. Draft's gonna be on. We'll be going crazy over here too. Like some of our best nights has been draft nights with some of the stuff that's been going on with the Eagles over the last 3-4 years. And we just had Adam Carricker on yesterday afternoon picking his brain about some of the Nebraska guys. I know you're still close to the guys down there in Florida. How many guys do you think they're going to do? 4 or 5 guys this year? How are you feeling?
Oh man, I mean, I definitely know 4. I think Kyrie Elam. I think Zachary Carter, maybe Damian Pierce. That 4th one's gonna be a little of a shakeup because Florida they gonna get back to putting them out in droves. But I mean, I'm gonna be surprised to see how many guys from Georgia gonna go because I know they're gonna have about 10. 11. Yeah. So, I mean, shout out to them Georgia boys, man. Won the national championship with that defense. Jordan Davis, N'Kobe Dean, Travon Walker. I mean, he might be number 1 overall pick. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh man, I can't wait.
I'll tell you what. I'll just have a little fun with you, Ben. I'll have a little fun with you, Ben, real quick, because I live down here in Lakeland, Florida. Obviously, an area that the Gators have a very, very heavy presence when it comes to recruiting football and all the other sports. But I don't like. I really don't know if I trust anybody from that Dan Mullen. Like Mullen was there, and it feels like he didn't have that bunch of killers on that team. Like you watch him, it always felt like in big games against good teams, they always came up a little bit small, and that would worry me about those guys at the next level as far as the mentality and the mindset, and whether or not they got what it takes to go out and actually be successful at the next level the way I would want an SEC program and their players to be.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment. I think the thing about the National Football League people got to understand is they're looking at you 2 ways. They're looking at you individually and what you meant to the team collectively. But that individual thing is what they're looking at the most, right? And I think the thing about Dan Mullen, he started off up here, back-to-back New Year's 6 bowls. Peach Bowl, Orange Bowl, but then it tailed off because what hurt him was recruiting. He's not a great recruiter. Now, offensive mastermind, yes, but that's a fair assessment, man. If you are these guys coming out right now, they're going to be asking them what happened. But I look at it like this, too, though. You look at a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, right? He's going to be the number 1 overall pick, right? Now, I'm not saying Aiden Hutchinson don't got big-time upside. But Aiden Hutchinson was a late bloomer. I did not know who Aiden Hutchinson was until he went up against Ohio State. And obviously, no bias there. I mean, I'm a Southern college football guy, so I'm more engulfed in the ACC, SEC, and so forth. But I just think if you went to Florida, Kyrie Elam, I mean, is a first-round pick. He's probably going to go in the second round because that cornerback position so deep. But, yeah, man, I mean, coming from a guy that went from Steve Spurrier to Ron Zook, I know about them questions, man, and you got to be able to answer them. But I think what helps you get drafted is when you're honest. When you say, yeah, man, we stunk it up. Like, let's call it what it is. Can't beat Florida State and Miami and lose to UCF. Like, you just can't do that. And they did it. But hopefully they tell the truth about it, man. And hopefully once they get on the NFL roster, they'll prove and say, look, man, Dan Mullen or not, I went to Florida. I know how to play football. Get me on your squad. I can show you what I can do.
Hey, man, all I got to say is that this has been one of the craziest off seasons for the NFL. I think normally we see the craziness happen as trades go as far as draft night goes, but we've seen so many people move this offseason, having their contracts absolved, moving here. I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, but there's a lot of things that happen. You had wide receivers move around,
trades, Russell Wilson.
You have Adams go out to Oakland. You got Hill going down there to Florida. I mean, it's been one of the like you've been around this game for a while. Like, have you ever seen an offseason quite like this? I mean, we haven't even gotten to the draft yet.
I haven't, but I like it though. I will say this. I mean, it starts with Aaron Rodgers. He gets the historic deal, right? And then next thing you know, Devontae Adams. He's going back to Vegas with his best friend Derek Carr. Tom Brady got the baddest kids on the block because he spent 2 months with them and said, I can't deal with y'all. I'm going back to Tampa. You talk about Russell Wilson, you talk about Tyreek Hill, you talk about Von Miller, Chandler Jones. I mean, and then I ain't even got to these freaking cornerbacks getting freaking Denzel Ward is the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. He got more money than JC and those guys. I just think that, one, it pays to be a number one receiver because you're going to get big money because people talking about Tyreek Hill, Christian Kirk going to Jacksonville got, $80 million? I like Christian Kirk, but my God. I mean, I think that the one thing about the National Football League is this. It never ceases to amaze. I mean, the biggest one of the offseason, though, got to be Deshaun Watson. $250 million guaranteed dollars after not playing for a year. So wait a minute. The key is not play for a year. I'm not going to talk about the allegations because I ain't never seen nothing like that. Baker Mayfield, I mean, they signed everybody but Baker, right? So, hey, man, I just think that the National Football League proves, one, it's still the most loved game in America because you know the players, right? In the NBA, I don't know the players. I'm sorry, nobody really watches baseball. I know y'all probably be watching the Phillies or the Carolina Rays. And my freaking Braves are the defending World Series champs. And I just listen. Tiger Woods is the only reason why golf is interesting, and he plays once a year now. So I just think that the NFL offseason was Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Russell Wilson. I mean, Tyreek Hill. It's something every single week. Then Bruce Arians, I'm going to step down. Ty Bowles. Hey, I'm looking forward to this season.
That's one of one of the interesting things. Really interesting things you see because I don't know exactly what happened there, but like all of a sudden, the hiring process had ended, and a lot of people were upset. Felt like there was the Rooney Rule was being circumvented in an unfair type of way. And then all of a sudden, one of the guys that were probably should have been at the top of the list, Bruce Arians, saying, "I'm done. I'm going to go into the front office," and not. I don't think that he did not absolutely deserved a spot on Tampa Bay or any other of the 32 teams that we have around the NFL. But I just think that whole situation felt a little weird to me. Like you're a guy that's been in the league, like you've seen everything, heard everything. How did this situation kind of feel to you? Because I've just felt like it was off.
I just think that as a guy that was with Tampa for a little while, I just think that the Glazer family said, look, let's look at the track records. One guy spent 18 years at one team, and they went to 10 10 straight? They won 10 straight conference championships, and they go that many Super Bowls. The other guy ain't never won nothing. Like, I like Bruce Arians. He ain't never won nothing without Tom Brady. So they said, who you rather have? I'd rather have the older guy, the old coach who, while he's great for, minority coaches like Ty Bowles, like Byron Leftwich, he ain't the easiest guy to get along with. So I go, all right, if all I got to do is tell Bruce, look, Bruce, we're going to let you step down, keep getting paid, come to the front office, aka get the hell out the way, and just promote Ty Bowles. One, that makes us look good. Two, we keep Tom Brady. And three, we get a chance to kind of go back to, run the NFC again, take nothing away from the Rams. So I think it was a no-brainer for the Glazers because they looking at productivity versus longevity. And when you look at Tom Brady, he's the GOAT. I mean, he's never going to stop playing. I thought it was kind of crazy when he retired. Like, he gone? Like, that's it. I
just felt like people were continually asking him, and he just wanted to give them an answer. Like, you know what? I'm done. all right, I'm done. I'm retired. And then, it was getting to that point where he's sitting at home and like someone was you seen some tweets like, damn, it only took 3 months of being home with his family to say, nope, I'm not doing that. Now, I just think he was getting complacent and he was getting ready to start his normal regimen and was like, he wasn't really doing it. So it was like, it was something he felt like was missing. And he's like, you know what? I'm not done. I still got this itch. And if I'm ready to start, my own personal training before OTAs, then I know I'm not done.
Hey man, shout out
I do think there's a little something to Brady. Ben, to your point about Brady going home and seeing what it's like to have to try to be a dad full time with his kids and being like, fuck this noise. I don't really know if I'm ready for any of this. But the interesting story that's come out recently that made you go, oh, wow, like, this kind of now says a lot about the Brian Flores situation and all that was the story that came out about apparently Brady was going to join the Dolphins as a part owner or something and then also play quarterback and stuff like that was like really weird. And you're like, then that all fell apart when the Flores situation happened. But I mean, I know you at least heard about that. What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you wrap your mind around that whole thing?
It shows why Stephen Ross is one of the worst owners in sports. Because think about this, man. I mean, okay, if Tom Brady wants to become an owner, that's cool. I am not. You can't be an owner and play. Like, that creates such division. If I am how can I be, quote, your employee and your boss? Like, how does that work? Like, that doesn't work. And the thing about Stephen Ross is he thinks he's smarter than everybody. Like, I know people talk about the Washington Commanders or the Detroit Lions being some of the worst organizations in sports. I get that.
The Washington Commanders absolutely are at this point. After what just came out about Dan Snyder, and there's no doubt anymore. None. The stadium's falling apart. You've been pocketing money. There is no way Dan Snyder is not hands down the worst. Like, it doesn't matter if you're an Eagles fan and you hate Jerry Jones and things. There's no way Dan Snyder is officially the scum of owners in sports. Period.
Oh, he is. And the thing about Dan Snyder is, right? Think about this. You had the allegations with the young ladies in the front office. That wasn't good enough. You finally had to change your name or whatever made you was the no-name football team in professional sports.
For 2 years.
Then it comes out, listen, we ain't even going to talk about that drought. Like, the quarterback, they've had more quarterbacks than freaking Cleveland. They had a bunch. Donovan McNabb, the great Eagle, was a freaking – anyway, all I'm going to say is when you think about Daniel Snyder, somewhere Daniel Snyder is trying to be like Donald Sterling. He's trying to have a come up because make no mistake about it. The Commanders going to cost a lot of money. If you want them, it's going to cost a lot of money to get them. But Dan Snyder, number one, he's one of the most influential owners because he's crazy as hell. But then I think what happens with him, he's always doing something, right? Oh, like no matter what. He's kind of like Aaron Rodgers as an owner. Like, he's gonna do something. I'm not comparing the productivity.
No,
I'm just saying when they ain't talking about it, they're gonna do something.
Attention whore.
Hey, at the end of the day, I don't think Daniel Snyder gonna be an owner much longer because I think at the end of the day, you're stealing from the fans and the opposing. Wait a minute. So the accountant is like, "Hey man, we gonna send the check over. No, we gonna keep it. What?" They books gonna come up short. It's cool, man. Don't give them no bad. We definitely ain't using it for stadium renovation.
Oh,
that's not happening. So I just think that for me, Daniel Snyder's one of those type of guys to where he thinks because he's the owner, he's safe. But now you're starting to affect the bottom line of the league. Hey, that might be the straw to break the camel's back.
Man, that's probably why they brought Carson in to get the attention off of him. So they'd be like, "Oh, look, Carson's playing the Eagles. Hey, let's go."
Hey, I just think that the thing about the league that's so intriguing is it's so many storylines for so many teams, right? Like people start saying Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp might be better than both of them, and that's taking nothing away from either one of those dudes, right? Super Bowl MVP.
He should have been Super Bowl MVP and league MVP last year.
Yeah, I will say if there was ever a
that dude was on another level last year.
Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford is responsible for two of the greatest regular season receiving. Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp. He leaves Detroit for 1 year, goes over there, win the chip. Hey man, look, the thing about the Rams don't care about draft picks. They want proven players. They want Odell. They want
that's going to hurt them in about 3-4 years. I'm going to tell you. But if they can get more than one title out of it, are you really going to be that upset?
No.
Even if you don't, you've already got your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you almost didn't have a chance this year because a lot of people were thinking Matthew was gonna get that as he got that Super Bowl. Was like, get out of there. But glad we'll see him back here. I cannot wait to see what happens this next year in the NFL. We want to switch gears and talk the Eagles. We'd already had one of the people in the chat room asked the question: Does anyone have the confidence that Howie Roseman can actually put the pieces around this team and give not only the defense but Jalen Hurts the proper weapons to make an improvement on last year?
I think they can. I really, really think they can. I think the thing about the Eagles is, what's crazy is you have to set your team to be the best team in the division or beat the best team in the division. Dallas on paper is the best team in the division, but they are beatable. They are very, very beatable. I think the thing about Philly is you got to be able to add pieces to coincide with that offense. Yes, you get rid of Amari Cooper. I like CeeDee Lamb. I don't think he's ready for the big time. Number one was, and that's another show for another day. I think the thing about the Eagles is last time I checked, the last team to win the NFC East and to win it all was the Eagles. I'm sorry, Daniel Jones. Carson Wentz is back in the division, except now he's
on the worst team. He's on the worst team.
So for me, you got to show Jalen Hurts, man, that you believe in him. Look. Reader and those guys, they got to go out there and help him, man. They're gonna have to help him. And I think the thing is, this is the thing. The Eagles are good when they got three things, right? And it's all offense, solid quarterback play, a seam stretcher tight end, and a nice running game. Because the best receiver they've had that I've seen in a long time was Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey did not stretch the field, but he was solid at number one. So you give him a number. Reader gonna have to grow up. You get him a tight end, which you got some. Maybe you add another receiver because Jalen Hurts, man, he's only won everywhere he's been. Won at Alabama, won at Oklahoma. You didn't want to draft him second round. He's not bad. Think about it. People go, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not. So I don't have to be top 5 in the league.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I like talking about because, I see I'm not a blind person when it comes to quarterback, but let's be honest. When I think the Philadelphia fan base has a problem with is because he's not that prototypical big arm guy that can throw the ball 60 yards down the field on a dime, and your wide receiver doesn't have to adjust to the ball. He just goes and get it. Where a lot of times, but you did have windows in last season where he would go and throw guys open. There would be a guy all over his receiver. Next thing you know, turn around, the ball's right there. He would make those throws. You're hearing and seeing things, what he's doing in the offseason to make sure that he improves on who he is as a quarterback. He's working with Tom Brady this offseason. You can't shy away from that. Am I going to sit there and say he's going to be making Tom Brady type decisions moving forward? Because that's the other thing that he's doing. When he does have these moments where he does make a really, really bad decision where he makes a throw instead of throwing it out of bounds, and you wind up in the
playoffs.
Yeah,
are you concerned, Ben, when you hear a team like the Buccaneers and their coaching staff on audio on the sideline during the playoff game saying, "Hey, let's keep disguising our looks. Let's keep mixing it up. This kid can't read a defense. He can't read a defense," and that's kind of been a big knock on him. I love everything about Jalen Hurts, the person. He's a competitor. He's fiery. He's a winner. He's going to do everything that he possibly can to hold himself accountable and say, I need to be better here. I need to get better in this situation, all that. But I just question whether or not I think the arm is limited, and I think there's things about his arm strength, his ability to throw the football, and his ability to read a defense that it is what it is, and there's maybe not any way for that to get any better than what it already is. And if that's the case, it doesn't mean you can't win with him because we saw us go to the playoffs this year. But is the upside high enough? Is he got the ability to become a good enough quarterback to take you where you want to go?
And Zach, to Ben's point, like we have some cap available. You know, you made improvements on defense. You do have a good offensive line who's young and experienced now. You have the tight end situated. If you get him the wide receiver and keep balance, you're good.
Yeah, I will say this. When you think about a guy like Jalen Hurts, right? If someone says we can't read a defense, you know how many quarterbacks in the league can't read defenses? It's a bunch of them. It ain't just Jalen. But I think what has happened is.
Well, I agree, sure. I completely agree. I don't think any of those guys are good though either.
Hold on, but this is what it really is. If somebody told you got Rieger, you got Devonta Smith, you got Goddard, you got Miles Sanders. Dude, you can win with those dudes. Like, you can win with those guys. But this is what it really is. And I know this about certain fan bases.
It's a solid roster.
But I will say this. You got fan bases and you got Philly fan bases. It is a difference. Y'all are a different kind of you see what I'm saying? Like, because y'all are passionate about y'all team. I was in Philly when y'all booed Donovan McNabb, booed him. So I will say this about Jalen. Jalen is better than most quarterbacks because of where he plays. Most quarterbacks can survive in Philly. You got to have a thick skin to play for the Eagles. Like, it's not. I see. So I will say this.
I'll agree with that.
Now, do we have to pick up defenses? Yes. Is he going to have to grow up like in a hurry? Because I'm not sold on Dallas, man. I get tired of that. Before the season starts, they're going to go to Super Bowl based off of what? No, they're not. No, they're not. The Washington Commanders on the real football team.
Thank you.
Out of all the names to pick, you call yourself the Commanders. That sounds like a hockey team. They don't even sound like a football team. And the thing about Daniel Jones, I mean, Daniel Jones got tackled by the air. No one touched him, and he fell wide open, running down. I'm just saying, for me, I think listen, y'all got Fletcher Cox, y'all got Darius Slay, y'all got some all-pro defensive players. If Philly can put it together on offense, decide what type of offense they want to run, really invest in it, and let Jalen know, at least, man, for this year, man, we all in on you. Y'all got a shot to be really, really good because, like I said, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, maybe like Joe Burrow, Russell. It ain't a lot of top tier quarterback in the league, man. It ain't. But that second tier, Jalen's there. That second tier quarterback, man, most teams, let me tell y'all something. All those teams are acting like they don't want Jalen. Let Jalen come up with the draft coming up. Let Jalen name come up in the trade. They're gonna snatch him because he's solid. He's solid. Listen, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, man.
So when does he rank for you?
Listen,
do you got him top 10, top 15, top 20?
I would definitely put Jalen in the top 20, maybe top 15, because this is the thing. The top 10, right, is based off consistency more than how they play. They're very consistent. Lamar Jackson is consistent. Joe Burrow been in the league 2 years, man. Like, stop it. I wouldn't put Joe Burrow in the top 10. He's been in the league 2 years. He's been healthy for 1 year. So I just think that for me, think about this. What
take a team to a Super Bowl though, Ben.
hold on. You right though. Listen, I'm not taking away what he did. I mean, what? I mean, at the end of the day, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. Do anybody? You see what I'm saying? Like, Super Bowls ain't created. Jared Goff went
I got a different situation though, Ben. I'm just saying. Yeah. Cincinnati for me is like where careers go to die, and Burrow turned that around.
I'm not taking away what he did. I'm just saying that Aaron Rodgers, this is a top tier quarterback to me. If you got one drive, can he win it for you? Most quarterbacks cannot. I think Jalen can. Because, man, I just think that most guys don't work on a game in the offseason. He's working on all of his games. We'll see. There were games that he hit Rieger right there. I mean, it's right there. And Rieger dropped it. That's not Jalen's fault. It hit him right in the breadbasket, right? So I just think that for me, a guy like Jalen Hurts is this. He won't get but 1 more year in Philly. He's going to have to show it all this year. It won't be 2023. That ain't happening. So
I agree. This is his do or die. He's got to show that.
No, yeah, this is his man. I'm with you. I'm excited about him working out with a guy like Tom Brady, but now I've got to actually see the results of you going to work with a guy in the offseason like that, and I got to see that translate to the field. But I got to see you go through your reads a little bit better and quicker and go through those progressions. I've got to see you make the throws on time. I've got to see all that become more consistent. But I love the fact that the kid's got the work ethic and the mindset to where he wants to go be the best that he can possibly be, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen.
This is how you know Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than people give him credit for. Even with Carson Wentz coming back to the division, he's still the second best in the division. It's that Jalen. I don't Carson Wentz. You know what I'm saying?
We don't have an answer for it.
Carson had a better year than him last year. If you're just looking at how they played the position, Carson had a better year.
This is the thing about Carson. It's not that Carson is a bad quarterback. He's just not a good enough quarterback for what he is. I saw Carson Wentz.
He's soft.
I saw Carson
mentally and physically.
I saw Carson Wentz lose.
Yeah, you're not going to be a winner.
Carson Wentz lost the last game of the season against Jacksonville on the road. You lost to Jacksonville to keep him in jail? Now, could you imagine if that was Jalen? If Philly got to beat Jacksonville to go to the playoffs, he's going to win that game. Like, dude, we're winning. And to me, that's what makes Carson Wentz kind of – Nick Foles has a freaking statue outside of the
I agree with you 100% there, Ben. I agree with you 100% there. Arm talent-wise, I feel like Carson Wentz, better quarterback. But Jalen Hurts is more of a killer, more of a winner, more of a competitor, more of a guy that when I say, hey, I need you to go out there and compete and win me a football game today, I've got more confidence that Jalen Hurts is going to keep me in that game and give me a chance to win than I am Carson, because Carson seems to have something there mentally that makes him come up small in those situations.
Carson Wentz has been on 3 teams in 3 years. Philly, Indy, now he's in what? And this is after he signed his big contract. So Philly took care of him. All I'm saying is this. I was told by guys that play the field. They say real Philadelphia Eagles, they hang out in Philly. They go to where they deal with the criticism. They don't try to hide out in the hills or whatever. They say Carson Wentz didn't do that. You don't want to deal with criticism. Come on, man.
He turned into Ben Simmons. Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to learn a lot about Jalen, because when Jalen goes up against Washington, he better have a good showing. You don't want to lose to Carson Wentz, man. Don't lose to the guy you were playing.
I have full faith that Jalen is the number 2 guy he in the division when we break it down like that. But real quick before we switch gears, I know we're gonna go up against it. Daniel wanted to ask you a question here. He's our co-host. He don't feel good, so wanted to get this one in here for you right there on their bottom.
Oh man, yeah. So Daniel, the thing about the NIL stuff, I work with the Gators Collective. That's the NIL platform for Florida, to where I don't have nothing to do with the financial stuff. I just thought as a former player, talking to the current players. I think my role is showing them how to brand themselves, man. I try to show them you got to be able to get fans to root for you, the person and the player. Because obviously you go to Florida, you got a brand, but it's fun for me. And now they got this new thing called Gator Guard, to where that's basically like the Gators Collective in the stadiums, they're the regular seats. Gator Guard, those are the club seats. Them the millionaires and billionaires that throw money in this pot. Because fellas, it's about recruiting, it's about facilities, and it's about the players. And in that order, recruiting, facilities, players. Gators Collective, though, they put money in these guys' pocket, though. I mean, I'm happy for them. The biggest misconception is they're making millions. They're not. But when I was in college, I don't know if you guys went to college or whatever, I was broke as hell. I was whoop. I had a master in lint in my pocket. I didn't have nothing but lint in there.
Ben, one of the stories I heard a guy in Arian Foster tell, and I want to hear if your story, like maybe your experience with college was similar, but he told a story about all him and a bunch of other football players hanging out in like one of the dorm rooms or one of the off-campus apartments or whatever there at the University of Tennessee, and them being broke, them being hungry, not having any food, and like an assistant coach showed up at their apartment complex with like 100, tacos from Taco Bell, just bags of tacos from Taco Bell. And there was like 100 tacos total to feed all the football players, which was technically at the time, it was an illegal thing. And technically it's against NCAA violations and breaking all types of NCAA rules and yada, yada. But he's like, there's no way you're ever going to be able to convince me that that's wrong and that's something that should be in violation of NCAA codes. And I think I agree with that side of it. You've got 18, 19, 20-year-old college kids that don't have a lot of money, are broke, don't really have the resources to go get food. Why shouldn't, who hasn't borrowed $20 from somebody to go be able to buy a pizza or go get, whatever they need to go get something to eat at that age? I think we've all been there and done that. Was that kind of like a similar experience that you had in college? Was like kind of a story like Arian Foster told there?
Yeah, I wish, man. Looking back on it, I mean, it was plenty of days that I did want to ask my position coach, could I borrow a couple of dollars? This was my story though. It's crazy. So we used to go to tutoring. So we got practice, we got training table, then we got tutoring. We used to try to go to this loan site, right? But we trying to get loans for $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, not a lot of money, and it gets rejected because we on full scholarship. So much so that we were getting flagged so much that the guy named Nolan Simmons. He was the guy in the financial aid department that gave us our Pell Grant. He used to call our parents and tell our parents, tell your sons to stop trying to get the freaking loan. Like, somebody would say, hey man, I broke through. For how much? For like $1,200. And then, but it has to go through the school. So try to pay like Arian Foster, man, because the biggest misconception is, you the face of the school, and you driving revenue and merchandise and TV deals. You ain't getting no money. And I went to Florida to where we had that big Tank Black controversy that sports agent that was giving out big dollars. I'm talking about millions. I don't think players actually involved in it, but hey man, let me tell you something. Anybody that say, hey Ben, if they was giving out money, would you have took it? Hell yeah, I would have took it.
Yeah, of course.
I don't need no paper bag, because back then, no social media, had cell phones, no YouTube, no nothing. So, hey man, I'm 18, 19 years old, man. I would have took anything they gave to me. So anybody that's ever been ineligible for taking money, shame on the NCAA for that nonsense, man. Y'all better than that.
Oh, absolutely.
Were you ever in a position where they would?
Go ahead, David.
I'm sorry, Steven. Are we up against something? You got to move on, don't you? I don't.
Yeah, we're up against it.
One more question.
Yeah, you got it, bro. One more.
Okay. Were you ever because I know one of the big things that led to these NIL types of things was you have a situation where I know Johnny Manziel was in a position like that in college, Jameis Winston was, and I'm sure plenty of other guys have been too, where somebody will ask them, hey, I'll pay you a certain amount of money to sign, a certain amount of merchandise or whatever. And I mean, hell, if you're a kid that age, that's also that good of an athlete, and somebody's offering you $25,000 to sign a bunch of merchandise, you're not going to say no to that type of situation. What are your thoughts on, I guess, that and how things like that, players not being able to have control of their own name and control of the idea that hey, I get to be able to profit off of my name and all that and all that. How has that led to this type of deal with the NILs and all that coming about?
I think that might have pushed him more than anything. I mean, I remember Ty Gurley from Georgia. He lost like 2 games. He got to spend the 2 games for signing a jersey, his jersey. It's ridiculous. It really is. At the end of the day, right? We went to the Outback Bowl my junior year. Well, we went my junior and school year. I was gonna pawn one of my Outback Bowl rings. They just give you a ring, by the way. It just comes about. This is why I didn't pawn it though. When I walked in there to pawn it, the guy goes, "Yeah, man, what's your teammates look? There's a bunch of Outback Bowl rings." I'm like, "Oh God!" So I'm telling y'all, it's the biggest misconception is these people just want to be rich. No, you just want to have something. If we all in college together, right? And y'all say, hey, Ben, man, we going out to the movies. Nah, I see y'all boys. I don't want to seem like the quote athlete that's leeching off my friends because I ain't got no money. So I'm happy for them, but know this though. Everybody ain't got NIL deals. So just because you go to P5 schools, I know a bunch of kids ain't got them. So for everybody thinking that everybody's making a whole bunch of money, most people are still they major in lint in their pockets. Unless they come from money, they ain't got no bread. So NIL is great. And to all the coaches like Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban complaining about it, y'all are also benefiting directly from it. Stop that nonsense. We got the two highest paid coaches in college football complaining about NIL. Yeah, they making $10 and $11 million a year, man. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, man. Now, Ben, before you know what we typically do before we wrap it up, we throw the kind of microphone over to you. Anyone you want to thank, shoot out your socials, anything you're working with, you want to let the people know about. Let them know about the book, man. I know it's coming out. Let the people know where to follow you and everything like that as well.
Follow me on all social media sites at BigScoop84.com. Follow me at Pigskin Radio Monday through Friday. Myself, DJ Bennett, Kevin Thomas on 3 and out, ESPN Coastal. And look, man, follow me in everything that I'm doing. Go to BigScoop84.com to get my book Uncommon Unfinished, the Ben Troop Story. Also go to my podcast, 84 Reasons on all podcasting platforms. I'm telling you, no games, no gimmick. Just reasons. 84 reasons. Talking to current student athletes at the University of Florida, people like Trinity Thomas on the gymnastics team, Javon Dexter. I mean, and the list goes on and on. You talk about different guys coming through showing love, man. Ventrell Miller, and the list goes on and on. I think that at the end of the day, man, just follow me at BNTB84.com, man. Going to have a new book coming out called 84 Reasons. Be on the lookout, for more things to come in. Coming out called find me a lot of places. You ain't gonna never find me in jail. Just know that. For more things to come in.
All right, Ben. Always appreciate the time, my friend. Again, like I said, I'm gonna be sending you a few things in the next month or so. Make sure you respond to me about that book too. I want to add that to my collection. I got a bunch of signed books. So, Ben, as always, it's a pleasure. We'll definitely have you on again in the future, guys. Again, make sure you're following Ben on all his platforms. That's 84 Reasons for his podcast as well. Ben, we'll have you back on here again. Enjoy your evening, my friend. All right, that was the end of that one, and we're gonna immediately switch gears here, and the next segment is brought to you by Fan Up, and that is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. Daily NBA contest is more win great prizes. Sign up today with promo code A2T for 5,000 bonus points. That's $50 of value. That's the Fan Up app, and we are getting ready to talk some basketball. And without any further ado, our good friend Mr. Alan Foy down there. What's up, Alan?
What's going on, buddy?
I'm good. We were just having some fun with Troop. I guess Zach's still having technical difficulties. He's been having a problem.
I got to get on Tom, man. So he's got his.
Oh yeah, someone was sitting there saying earlier.
Yep. So how's everything going?
I'm great, dude. Yeah, exactly. See, Ted's over here yelling at Zach. Turn your radio down, Zach. We were echoing real big as
Yeah,
Zach still doing it through his phone, man.
Yeah.
I was busting his chops. Oh, what was it like about a month ago, right before I came back? He was like, yeah, I got my return. I did this. I did that. I'm like, wait a minute. Please tell me you bought a laptop. He's like, no. I'm like,
yeah, I saw. I think you saw my comment. I was busting his chops about how skinny he is and needing a laptop. He needs some food or something. But
oh man,
chops.
Here he is. What's up, Zach?
I didn't get my return back. I haven't gotten it yet. I just know what it's going to be. But I paid off like a $3,000 credit card debt and like a bunch of other bills and debts that I had in my life with like money that I've been making through gambling and things like that I finally like had extra money to spend on. What I got was the money that was owed to me when I got rear-ended in my accident about a year ago now, and finally my settlement money came in. So, but you use that to pay off the debts and the bills that you have, Steven. I'm not really gonna go buy a fucking laptop for like $500, $1,000 when I got $2,000 in credit card debt.
I'm on a $200 laptop right now, Zach. Works perfectly fine.
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to tell him. You don't need to spend like $600 or something.
What else am I going to do on it for, Alan?
Hold on,
Alan.
The problem was
he
wanted a gaming one so he could play his games on it too. That was his problem.
No, it's not even. No, see, he's so full of shit. See, no. See, listen, this is my point about having a laptop. Alan, think of all the other things you're going to do with that laptop from a coaching perspective, from a real estate perspective, all that.
I use my
the only thing I'm literally going to use the laptop for is to do the show.
Yeah, I use mine every day. My YouTube channel, my real estate, my power, all kinds of stuff. I use it every single day. So
the only thing I would use it for is to do a show.
Ted, first time listener.
So, for me, it's not a smart investment. If I and then I've got a nephew and other friends that play a bunch of PUBG and games like that, where it's like, I've got a better chance of being able to use a tablet or a really, really high quality 5G phone than I would ever use top for anything. So I don't want to go waste money on something that I'm only going to use once or twice a week when it comes to radio stuff. I'd rather go get something I could use for radio and other things.
So you don't think if you bought a laptop you would find other ways to use it though? Honestly?
No, because I don't have anything from a business perspective. I don't have anything from a business perspective. I don't have anything from an educational perspective. If we want to watch any of our shows on our apps or anything like that, I'd already do that on our phone. We already do, I can do that on the tablet while also using the tablet for the other things I want to use it for. So no, I really don't think I'd use the laptop for much more than just this.
All right, fair enough. I'm one of the cheapest people alive, but I still went out and shelled out for a laptop. But I do use it every day, to be fair.
See, Daniel's like, I had the wrong day to be sick. Like I said, I told you we were gonna have some fun tonight. All right, now let's kind of reel it back in and let's talk some basketball. The Sixers finally lost the first game of the first playoff series here. They still lead the Toronto Raptors 3-1, heading back here to Philadelphia. How you guys feeling about just the overall outlook of the team? Right now moving forward, are you still feeling like this is a team on Joel Embiid's back, regardless of the tweaked muscle in his hand that could make a run to the the Eastern Conference Finals, potentially the NBA Finals?
You want it, Zach, or what's
yeah, we can start with it. We can start with you, Alan, because Zach's going to be Captain Freeze a lot.
So I feel better. I feel better now than I did when the series started. The Sixers kind of look like they were leaking gas, leaking oil a little bit as a team. I was a little concerned, just because it's a Raptor team. We're better than the Raptors, for sure. But it's a Raptor team that, has won a championship. They have a great coach. It's not crazy to think Nick Nurse could outcoach Doc Rivers in this series. But I feel a lot more confident with the way we've played in this series. We've locked in. And absolutely, it's still on Joel Embiid. I mean, listen, the Sixers start and stop with Joel Embiid. I mean, he just creates opportunities for everybody else. That's just the truth behind it. I watched the Wizards series last year, and when Joel Embiid was off the floor for injury or foul trouble, we just looked like a completely different team. We looked like we didn't even belong in the playoffs last year when Joel Embiid was off the floor against the Wizards. But it was so yeah. I mean, it starts and stops with Joel. I'd be disappointed with the talent we have if we don't make the Eastern Conference Finals at least. And I think the city would be as well, to be fair.
I agree. I've already kind of felt but even before the Hardy trade, that we should be Eastern Conference to NBA final level, regardless of James Harden. Just the way that Maxey has ascended this year, you already have Tobias Harris. James Harden is just the cherry on top. He's supposed to get you over the hump more than what Ben Simmons was giving you. As long as he isn't a gutless wonder, he's going to give you what you need to get you over that hump, and I believe get you to an Eastern Conference final and or a final. We'll see if I'm wrong within the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anything less than the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'll go one step further. Anything short of an Eastern Conference Finals where it's a competitive Eastern Conference Finals, like a Game 6 or Game 7 at least, to me would be a failure with the roster that we have right now. Like you said, with Maxey coming into his own, Embiid is Embiid. Tobias, you can go back and forth. Yeah, he's getting paid like a superstar. I wouldn't consider him a superstar, but he's a very, very good NBA player. And then Harden isn't the Harden he was 3 or 4 years ago. But he doesn't have to be.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I keep sitting there saying, like, you don't need him to be the superstar he was 5 years ago. As long as he's all-star level James Harden, you're okay. He doesn't need to be the superstar. You have an ascending one. You already have Tobias Harris. You have Joel Embiid, who is in fact probably, if not the best player, in the NBA right now, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the league right now. You have a formula to win.
To answer his question down there, yeah, I mean, Doc leads the NBA all time, right? In 3-1 series collapses, isn't that what it is? I think he leads all time down up 3-1 and collapses. So I don't think and Nick Nurse is a great coach, to be fair, and the Raptors have won a championship. I know the roster has been turned over since that championship a little bit, but there's still some pieces there. I just don't know if they have enough firepower. Siakam had to go nuts tonight just to compete and win by what they win by 5 or 6.
I think it was like
that.
what was it like it was like 101, 110, something like that when it ended.
Okay, but Siakam had to go nuts just for them to win like that. So I just don't know if they have enough talent on the roster. But like I said, it's a coach that's known for his 3-1 collapses, and Nick Nurse is a very good coach in his own right. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That'd be the end of Doc Short, really, if that were to happen. But
I wouldn't disagree with that. That's one of the things that we were talking about, leading up into this playoff series, is that I didn't necessarily think there was anything wrong with the players or anything. That Doc and some of his coaching decisions, some of when he makes the rotations that he was making, it was one of the things, like, me and Zach were contemplating the fact that if you felt that that the Sixers were in a spot, would you rather Sam Cassell leading this team over Doc Rivers? So yes, going back to the question from Martin, do we feel like a collapse is something to worry about? Absolutely, because this team has a history of it, regardless if it's under Doc regime or if it was under Brett Brown's regime. This team has known for having it. That's why we're brought in a guy like Tobias Harris. You bring in a guy like James Harden to kind of solidify that thing. Some of your young guys that you already have, Maxey, Matisse. You have an okay core. I think the only guy that probably won't be on this team next year, regardless of win, lose, or draw, that's been an avid part of it, is Danny Green. Is probably the only one I don't think will be involved with this team after this season. I think the rest of the guys on the roster, you can make an argument they could still be here, but I mean, I think that that Doc has to find a way to beat his own demons, let alone this team on the floor. I think the team on the floor is fine and capable on their own. Doc has to beat his demons in order for us to ascend further past what we are.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I would be a little concerned about is our bench. I could, that might be what if we do get stopped short of expectations, it'd be because of our bench, if anything. Our bench is not, something you would. Now, granted, in the playoffs, you typically play your stars a lot more than you would in the regular season, so maybe that helps take care of that issue. But our bench is nothing special, that's for sure.
I agree. Nothing to write home about. But like everything that's happened, I like what you go up 3-1 on this team. It was one of the things we talked to Jermaine last week, because you had Shaq and Charles and everyone saying there, all the Sixers are going to sweep the Raptors, and as well as this team is, you still a little have some defensive deficiencies. Traveling, you're always going to wind up, what you hope is to split at least. Not every time you're going to be able to run in somebody's house and smack them in their mouth. So we'll see about that. You know what I mean? Yeah, no one's ever come back from 3-0 until they do, Ted. Until they do.
Exactly.
I just don't want it to be us. That's all. Martin's just saying, I hope we play smart together on Monday.
Can you guys see me spazzing out up here in the corner? Like it was my mental breakdown just to me.
Like you're frozen. You just look frozen, brother. I told you.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm having a fucking mental breakdown up here. I'm glad nobody can fucking see it, but I'm fucking irritated as fucking shit.
It's time. It's time to get a laptop.
I keep trying to tell him the phone just
Look,
isn't
the
going to cut
laptop
it
doesn't
anymore.
help. I'm sitting next to my modem. I'm sitting it's in my lap.
Will.
Like the modem,
Oh my God.
me having a laptop doesn't do shit when my internet doesn't want to work.
We have to educate you in somehow. I don't know how, but we have to educate you somehow, brother.
I live in the middle of a fucking swamp. Okay, there's not much I can fucking do for you sometimes. Like
the phone is the problem. It's the problem. I don't know how many more times we have to tell you.
The laptop used to give us issues all the time too. Don't act like it didn't.
Yes, but you would have a lot less lagging issues where you're freezing up. Like
Well, Tom runs a company. Alan, you know how this goes. Okay, like you run a company, okay, and you want your employees to have certain resources. You want me to have a laptop? Then supply me with, provide me with the resources. Here's a fucking laptop. I don't give a fuck how old it is. If it's your old one or whatever, send me a goddamn laptop if it's that big of a deal. But Steven's over here bitching about shit,
Wait, you're the one having the meltdown because your stuff isn't working. That's on me.
I'm going to call him Monday and make sure he goes down there and gets an internet satellite right next to your house. And next week we'll be
I don't know what else to fucking tell you. This my house is really it's just stupid. Like I swear the lizards climb into we got these lizards down here. If you've ever been to this area of Florida, and I swear they'd be climbing up and shit and fucking it all up.
God, this guy.
You got down there, honest.
Yeah, well, we got the iguanas. They're a little bit further south into the Everglades, but we got they're called nooks, and like they're little tiny like gecko looking lizards, and you can like what's cool about them is if you grab them by the tail. And their tail comes off really easily, but then it regrows. They're really weird like that. Like their tail will come off, and then it just regrows. Like they respawn, like they're fucking superhero type characters or something. It's really you kind of creeped out by them because you feel like they're gonna kill you in your sleep and shit if they get into your house. Like you see one, you immediately got to get them out the front door. You're like, no, be gone, Satan. You're not allowed to unless you're paying rent, you cannot reside here. I don't need you crawling onto my face in the middle of my sleep. No.
Oh man,
makes sense.
Now, now we're looking at this thing, right? So, who do you think is going to be the team that's going to give us the most problems? You think that we'll be able to overcome Milwaukee, regardless? I think we'll wind up winning this series in the next game or two, at least in my opinion. But who is the team if you're looking at this that you hope is not in your way? I guess we're going to start with Alan because Zach is still
probably Milwaukee.
I didn't hear your question.
Yeah, probably.
Who's the team you want to stay away from? You don't want no parts of. You would like to see get out to not hamper our run.
I mean, right now, Boston's playing really well. The way they're taking it to the Nets, and then obviously I don't really know if I want to play the Nets either because I think the Nets are good enough to beat anybody too. But I'm not confident in the way we're playing right now compared to the way a lot of these other teams in the Eastern Conference are playing at the moment. I'll tell you that much.
I'm going to go with Allen. Just it's the Bucks, and I think we can handle Boston. Listen, they're the defending champs. They're the team you would rather get out of the way. And if Joel is starting to get banged up, I don't think you want him going head to head with Giannis. Oh, Zach.
We're having all kinds of stuff here.
Oh yeah.
But
we're not.
with that being said, none of us have seen what the Nets are with. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, none of us have seen what the Nets are at full strength yet either.
It's fair.
So that would be interesting.
I just don't see
what they are.
I don't see Ben being able to be much of a difference maker. Yeah, it takes you listen, James Harden still hasn't even found his his place here. So James Harden still hasn't even found his place here.
Yeah, it takes a while to gel together. Now for what it's worth, the Nets do have a team around Simmons. Where I believe he could
and then it looks like you're starting to get choppy there now, or is it just on my end? Yeah, having difficulties here. I don't hear you at all, Alan. What about Zach? Do we hear you now, Zach? Are you back now, Zach?
Hopefully I'm good now. I switched off my internet because fucking Christ was that annoying.
Yeah, we definitely lost Alan. He just froze completely. How did he even get a chance to come back in?
Oh, look, I'm not the only one. Great. Alan's laptop was really working well, wasn't it?
It was working better than yours was.
I'm not using a laptop. But see, you over here bitching about me getting a laptop, and his laptop went the fuck out on us. So what are you going to do?
I don't think he's gonna be like you and complain about the internet. Oh man!
Dude, I think at this point we might as well just get off the fucking air. This show has been such an absolute disaster and train wreck.
I mean, if you want to wrap it up, man.
It happens when Daniel goes away for a single day. I can't wrap anything up.
Being sick. Well, I mean, we're still gonna have some fun. I know
when Daniel's missing.
You're gonna blame it on Daniel. He's not gonna be here next week anyways. You already told us that. You're gonna put it on him for next week too. Oh, it's all Daniel's fault.
Yo, dude, there's a fight in the Lightning. There's a fight in the Lightning Predators game, and they're going. The dude from the Lightning is fucking him up. Oh, dude, he just hammer fished the shit out of him. Referees are jumping in on it. It's like an MMA fight on the ice. Somebody from the Predators made a hit and injured a Lightning player about 5 minutes before this, and then all hell just broke loose just now. I mean, they were going at it like it's a straight-up MMA fight.
Gotta love hockey.
Oh, this is good stuff.
The fights involved. Well, I guess we'll give Alan a few more minutes, and then if he doesn't come back, we'll get ready to wrap this one up. Since Daniel's not on, and we're not gonna get some of this extra stuff taken care of the night. Anything you want to talk about before we?
This has probably been the worst show in the history of A2D Radio. Let's be honest.
I don't think it was that bad. We'll see. We've had worse. I mean, granted, both you and Alan are having technical difficulties. You were completely frozen at the beginning. It was a train wreck at points, but hey, we make it happen at times. Yeah, like I said, anything you want to touch on before we wrap it up, bro?
I don't know. I don't even know if people can hear me. I can't hear you. All I hear is
you just fine.
He
kicks himself off. Well, that, my friends, might have to be the end for tonight. I guess that's it for Zach. That was it for Alan. Technical difficulties might be the theme for the evening. Either way, a fun one in the books. Appreciate Ben Troop's time. Zach for his innate rambling for his bad connection tonight. Alan, we got him on for a few minutes before his internet connection went out. We'll see how this one goes. Wait, it looks like Zach is trying to come back here. Let's see how this one goes. Let's see. 5, 4, 3. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I didn't quite hang up on you yet. I was getting ready to end it, but
God.
I was trying to delay it out. So, all right. Is there anything you want to add?
If we got more stuff to talk about, let's go for it and talk about it. But if not,
like I said,
I just feel like really bad about wasting people's time.
No, I don't think we're wasting people's time. Like I said, if there's another topic you wanna get to before we wrap it up, we'll get to it. If not, we'll put.
I don't even remember what the fuck was on the what was on the agenda anymore. Like I can't even remember what we had on our show.
We already beat down Phillies Braves. We talked to Ben Troop and talked some football. We were in the process of finishing out the Sixers recap of Game 4 and seeing what was gonna happen for Game 5. And the only other thing I was gonna
tell you what, that the Embiid injury, I know I can't be the only one that the Embiid injury concerns me a little bit. Because, I mean, I know we're always worried about his hand or his knees and his feet, but like, if he doesn't have the ability to be able to be physical, down on the low block and in the paint and use his hands the way that he's so good at, like that, you really saw that affect him today. He was struggling at times with it, and to Alan's point earlier, it's not like Doc's the greatest at coming up with ways to make adjustments as a coach when, say, your best player isn't at 100% or something like that. So the idea that Embiid could be a little hurt and it could be affecting him, it concerns me a little bit because it gives the Raptors a little bit of momentum that otherwise I really don't need them having. I still think we win the Raptors series regardless, but yeah, I mean, you need Embiid to be as healthy as possibly can be to make a championship run here. And of course, just, here you go again with something that, whether it's his fault or not, people calling him injury prone, all that. I don't know if that's fair, but I mean, good Lord. You need the guy to be.
You get nicked up. Like, dude, it's his hand. It's his hand. How are you going to say that's injury prone? It's his hand.
No, I don't think it is. I know there's the people that are going to say it is because of his past history. But again, it's just a situation of, how many years have you had something like this where it's just something unfortunate that it seems like goes against you to hold you back and giving you the best possible chance that you have of going to achieve your maximum potential. It seems like everything with him, even in past years, we've been talking about, you're concerned about his knees or his feet or the fact they might need off whatever. He's been dominating this year. He's been on the court every game. For the most part, he's been a guy that you haven't really had to have any of those concerns about. And now you have an injury that at least you're worried about. If it slows him down even just a little bit, it makes you a lesser basketball team than you were if he's at 100%. And that's obviously something that concerns me, trying to make a championship run. Because for me, this is championship or bust this year, and I think I knew that coming into the year. And then especially when you made the trade for James Harden, I feel like Doc Rivers' job's on the line. If you don't go make a run at a championship, you're going to have a new coach next year. That's just the way that this is all going to work. It's the dynamic of what this situation was going to be from the beginning. I think we all kind of felt the pressure of the expectations coming into the year as far as what it should be. Now, I don't know if it should be Sam Cassell. I know we were talking about that earlier. I heard you and Alan at least talking about it earlier. I'll keep all my options open. I don't know if it should be Sam Cassell. But but yeah, I mean, for me, Doc Rivers is out of job. I'll tell you what. You know what I would really love? Tell me this wouldn't be awesome. Jay Wright just retires from Villanova. And wouldn't it be like ironic to see him retire from Villanova And then next thing you know, 6 months later, he gets named the Sixers head coach.
I kind of feel like I listen. I don't necessarily disagree with that, just because of the simple fact I felt that retirement was literally out of left field.
Yes, right. Like maybe he doesn't want to be that asshole that's committed to a program, right? And then when an NBA team comes calling, he doesn't want to be that asshole that just kind of pulls the rug out from under the program and goes, "Okay, hey, deuces, I'm leaving. I'm going to coach in the NBA. You guys are on your own." And he'd rather retire and kind of make it seem like there's this whole thing set up where they've got his replacement and it's all, set up to the best that it possibly can be. And now he doesn't have to feel guilty come July when the Sixers offer him a head coaching job. And he's like, all right, you know what? I've been retired for a few months. It's not necessarily everything I thought it would be. And, he can use that. He can use whatever excuse he wants to use for why he wasn't comfortable retiring. And, this is just the next step, of his career that he needs to take. And let's go see what I can do at the NBA level, because his college legacy is already established. But I'm with you. This whole idea of, I'm retiring. Why? You don't have, it's not like you've got young kids that you're taking care of. Like, there's a little bit of something to me here that makes me think you maybe have, it's like the idea of Tom Brady retiring from the Bucks because he already had the situation with the Dolphins set up where he was going to go be part-time owner and all that. Maybe he already sees the writing on the wall. Maybe there's already been conversations between his agent and the Sixers organization. We already know that there's been conversations in previous years. So maybe this is his way of setting it up, big picture, long term, where he can feel better about himself taking the 76ers head coaching job if he sets it up like this, as opposed to making it seem like, oh, yeah, I'll be back as the head coach next year for Villanova. And then in the middle of July, when they're about 2 months away from starting a new season, he just pulls the rug out from under the program and says, oh, yeah, I'm going to coach the Sixers, and now y'all are on your own. You can't go out and get whatever assistant you want to be your new head coach, whatever. Now they've had the time to go out and hire the guy and target the guy that Villanova wants to be their new head coach. They targeted him. They signed him. They made him the offer, and he's agreed to a deal.
Are we sure that Philadelphia is the place he would want to go?
I don't think he would want to leave Philly. I mean, he's already established, like, he's got the house, he's got the family, like, he's established his life in this region of the country. So I think if he's retiring from a job like Villanova, it's not because he's going to go take a job somewhere else in the country. He's either taking another job here in Philly or he's legit done and he's retired and he's cool with just going and sitting, sitting on the rocking chair on the front porch as he sips his coffee. That's retirement, right? Like, okay, great. Like, maybe he's at peace with that decision. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this is just a little bit, okay, you've got my attention now with this. Because I'm with you. It's not like he's not old enough from Coach K's 80 years old or whatever. You're 70-something years old. Yeah, you retire at that point, right? All these, like, if you're Jay Wright, yeah, I mean, you're old, but you're not like old from like a college, like, you're not even old from a basketball coaching perspective in general. Larry Brown is still an assistant coach for Memphis under Penny Hardaway, and he's like 85. Like, Larry Brown is old as shit. Larry Brown, like, remembers, like, back when, like, Larry Brown remembers like back when Pluto was a planet and shit, and like Larry Brown is so old as dirt that like he remembers like when dirt was like made of a different substance and shit. Like, that's how old Larry Brown is, and he's still coaching. So,
oh man,
are you retired or are you just burnt out from your current position? And if a better opportunity comes along, you'll listen, because I think we've seen this before. How many guys have retired and then said, "Oh yeah, I retired," and then they come out of retirement 6 months later.
Let's see. Allen's trying to come back. Is he getting back? No, he's there. He's doing the old spinny wheel thing like you were doing a few days ago. Look at that.
Well, if Allen's here, I want to hear Allen's opinion on this, because Allen gets it.
If we can get his connection back.
Yeah. Yeah, you're retired until a better opportunity comes along, and then you're no longer retired.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't necessarily think that would be a bad idea. I don't think it would be out of the world to think that Jay's not trying to manifest this. Who knows? Maybe he sees the writing on the wall and, seeing some deficiency in the Sixers that could see Doc
maybe it's his dream job. And again, he just doesn't have the heart to pull the trigger. But for him to sit here and come out with the statement to say, oh, I just feel like I don't have the edge that I once did, and the yada, 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 yada. You just took a team to the Final Four for the third time in 5 years. You don't have the edge that you once did? I don't know. It seems like you're a better coach over the past 5 years than you were at any point in your career before that. So I don't buy into that at all because, I mean, literally, again, 3 Final Fours in the past 5 years, including 2 trips to a national championship game and a national championship. Your edge, you've been a better coach in the past 5 or 6 years than you were in the previous 15 before that. So I don't buy it. I just don't buy that. Like, no, you're in your prime as a coach still. You've got that edge and that competitiveness. Maybe it's just after 21 years at the same place, it's time for a change. Okay. I think we've all been there and done that and just said, sometimes you just need a change. But I don't buy this. I'm retired. Retired to do what? Like, the guys that coach for a living, that's all they know, right, Steven? Like, they don't know anything else. Yeah, you don't know, like, you have no idea how to go sit at home and just be a grandparent and hang out with your wife. Like, what is he going to do? Go watch Maury Povich, like, all afternoon? Like, what are you going to watch The Price is Right now? Like, come on. Dudes like him go stir crazy within 2 weeks. Like, we've seen this story play out way too many times for me to sit here and honestly believe he's done. So I'm all for it. And I've said it multiple times on this show. If you're talking about showing up with briefcases full of money, and we like to talk about college recruiting and shit like that, like we did with Ben Troop earlier and all that. You want to talk about a briefcase full of money? I'm firing Doc Rivers, and I'm showing up at Jay Wright's house with a briefcase full of money. Well, I how I try to talk too fast, and my mouth and my brain don't sync up.
Listen, I can't say nothing.
Things don't come out the way they should. But yes,
I'm no better.
I'm showing up at Jay Wright's house with a briefcase full of money, and I'm saying, "Here's a blank contract. You determine what it'll take for you to become the next head coach of the 76ers." Because to be honest, I think I'll listen no matter what his offer is. If I have to make him the highest paid coach in the NBA, I'll make him the highest paid coach in the NBA.
Don thinks it was Ray Rice.
Are we sure I'm not talking about Mike Rice? Wasn't he the guy that coached Rutgers 10 years ago and got fired because he was beating the shit out of players and stuff in practice? Wasn't that him?
I thought it was Weiss, not Rice.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's funny.
Oh man, we got to keep it lighthearted around here. This is pretty much going to put an end on this. Like, Daniel was supposed to be here. We would talk some MMA at the end, but he's not here. He's not going to be here next week, and we're going to have some fun. Obviously, the draft will be next week, so we'll probably concentrate more on that. We're really close to hitting 2 million listeners on our YouTube channel. We're getting ready for
well, that's good. Hopefully I didn't scare any away tonight.
I still got the dual sign mini helmet. I got some more things I want to hook up some of our listeners with. So guys, please make sure you're keeping active. You're not being scared away by Zach's ranting at times. Make sure you're heading over to YouTube, showing us some love there. Appreciate all the love on all the chat, all our platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, all that stuff, man. Just keep supporting, and guys, make sure you're also supporting our sponsors. This is one of the bigger giveaways that I'll be doing next month. Is anyone who uses our A2D code, regardless if it's for Gleason Bar and Grill, if it's for Manscaped, whoever, whatever you use that discount code for, make sure you let us know. We're gonna be doing a giveaway way. I got some more things that are going to be hooking Tom up to do some things throughout ATD Radio. So, our boy Bryce is, just got a package a few days, was in the chat room here a minute ago. He can tell you how it goes. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. Working on actually getting, some more fun guests for you guys. Other than that, this was another fun one. I'm Steve. That's Zach Burr. This is another episode of the Weekly Roundup. We'll be back. Make sure you guys are keeping locked in as the in this very ring, guys. Will be on right after us within the next hour or so. So stay tuned. This is another fun one. Peace out. I'll catch you later, guys.